Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this Delivery Advisory Services video. This is the first installment of 10 special programs we're producing on the various components within ESS BIZTOOLS. A product package that has been developed to assist you to deliver business advisory services to your clients. I'm on the home page of the members area on our site that you only get access to once you are a member, of course. And we're going to go to the Business Plus newsletter to start with, because this is a vital component of ESS BIZTOOLS, because this is the key marketing tool that we have developed. It's a newsletter which we prepare for our subscribers to badge and send to their clients. You can edit the material if you wish. We're up to edition 233. As you can see, we've been producing this for nearly 17 years, this newsletter. And we're after Business Plus edition number 233. So it's badged. It's Business Plus. It's got our name there, but we have a arrangement with our subscribers. You can delete our name and post your own there. So the newsletter's going out with your name. You can add material to it if you wish. And we're commenting on issues of that month that we think apply to SMEs, because they apply to SMEs in their businesses. They're important, and we believe as the key business advisors to SMEs, we should all be communicating with them. So we're writing the material to assist you to communicate with your clients, to assure them that you can help them on these particular subjects. So let's look at what's in this newsletter. We've got discussion about the new industry growth program, which has replaced what was a very popular grant, the Accelerating Commercialisation Program. The new grant is for companies with turnovers under $20 million for the last 3 years. But the turnover could be zero, but $20 million is obviously the maximum. The funding support is on a 50-50 basis, and there's two components. The first component is really for someone that's still doing their research and development phase. The grants are $50,000 to $250,000. And then there's a second component, commercialisation and growth projects. The grant is $100,000 up to $5 million. And that's a very big program, because that's implying that the total cost would be $10 million if you got the $5 million grant. But it gives you an idea of what is now available. And your clients are going to need your assistance to be able to successfully apply and then implement this project. And a lot of the work that you could do for them, I think, will be able to be claimed. But the government hasn't announced the full details yet, but we believe that will be the case. And we talked about where your client is going to get the 50% from to contribute. So we've mentioned early stage innovation companies, crowdsource funding, equity raise, and Section 708 of the Corporations Act. And we will include a commentary in Business Plus on each of those items over the next couple of months. But obviously, we've already got product packages within ESS BIZTOOLS that in this series, looking at delivering advisory services, we will comment on over the following editions of this program. We then go into a bit more depth about the priority areas and what early stage commercialisation really relates to, and then the commercialisation and growth. And then we start talking about some of the other documentation that your client's going to require. They will need a business plan if they're going to try to secure money from the public. They'll also need budgets and cash flow forecasts, and we recommend the predictive accounting approach. We then move on to a completely different subject. Companies don't run themselves, and I think we all know that, but at times we all forget it. Even in our accounting firms, we forget it. So we're looking at what's the drivers, the human resources drivers. Businesses need leadership teams. They need to ensure that all the core portfolios are not just allocated to one person, normally the owner, who ends up working 15 hours a day to try to keep the show going. We need to train and then delegate, or delegate and then train people to be able to undertake other jobs. And this will make their lives interesting and challenging. So we talked about that. We then talk about businesses require regular accounts monthly. Now, this is for the benefit of the business, but it's also got some benefits for you, because you will have to be involved in delivering these services. So this is the Chief Financial Officer type role, which I believe is very important for companies to be able to deliver. So that's a brief overview of Business Plus. If you go to our website, there is more information pertaining to that, but we're now going to go back and look at another segment of what's contained within ESS BIZTOOLS. And I'm now going to sections and papers. We've got about 580 papers within ESS BIZTOOLS, and they're in about 75 sections. So here's some of the section headings you can see here: corporate governance, exporting, legal, human resources. Going back up to the top, we've got beginning in business, business entities, operating a successful business. So I'm going to look at a couple of these to just show you what's involved. If we go into beginning in business, and we go to number 2 here, pitfalls in starting a business. There's a brief executive summary of what this paper's about. And then you've got the choice of a paper or the PowerPoint slides, because a lot of this material has been designed that you can run seminars or small workshops with your clients, or to start with your own team, to make sure they understand where we're coming from in all this. We are making you to be the internal accountant for these clients. So we've got the paper. It's badged ESS BIZTOOLS, but you can change that. Remove it and put your own name on it. This area above the double lines is for you to badge with your firm name, XYZ Accountants. We always have a set of contents. Some of these papers are fairly small. Others can be 40 pages long. Just depends what the subject is. The ones that are targeted at people starting business tend to be rather small. We've broken them into a number of different papers because they're really not interested in reading great manuscripts. But here's the paper starting out. What's all about this going into business? What do they need to learn? What do they need to be aware of? What can improve their chances of success? Now, our suggestion is that you would talk to your client, and instead of you sitting down for an hour and typing up or dictating a follow-up report, perhaps you'll just send this to your client. You can charge them for it if you like. You don't have to pay ESS BIZTOOLS any more money. We're not a franchise, so you can do that if you wish. But what you are doing is communicating with your client. So your client's got a bit of paper to take back and talk at their business about what they discussed with you. So we'll now go back and we'll look at another paper. I'm going to go to characteristics of a well-run business, and that's in section 6. So I've got to get back to section 6. And here we are, operating a successful business, or characteristics of a well-run business. And here it is here. It's 20 characteristics, at least we think. There's a few other items here as addendums, but I'm picking out the paper. And here's the characteristics of a well-run business. Again, you can badge it. And it's going through the various components. So you could sit and talk to your client about this. You could run a seminar, or you could just send him the paper and say you'll talk to him or her about it next time you talk to them. This is partly education of the client on running a business, but it's also educating your client that you can offer these services, that you're interested in this. You're just not a tax accountant. You can help them with a lot of matters to do with running their businesses more effectively. And this is really the delivery of advisory services. A lot of firms offer advisory services, but they're only doing it half-heartedly. This is a fair income commitment. You're going to deliver, and we're giving you the tools to assist you to deliver. So that's giving you a paper you can look at, say, okay, that's great. I can talk to the client. It is linked to other papers within the ESS BIZTOOLS system, so you can move around and pick up other ideas or other links. Talk to your client about that. Because what's your ultimate aim, I believe, is that you're going to become the Chief Financial Officer of this client. You're going to be involved at least month by month, in some cases week by week with the client, and offering them a fantastic service and helping them grow their business. And if they're so inclined, scale up their business. Take it up in rather big steps. Let's just quickly back to the previous one. Now, I'm next going to take you now to one more package. We're going back now to go to section 21. This is the business planning questionnaires. So within business planning questionnaires, I think there's about 50 of them for all various components. Let's look at this. Review of the business, financial analysis, business situation, business objective, resources, computers, product and services, industry, So we're going to pick on number 13, competitors. Important issue when you're doing a business plan. I've done probably 1,000 business plans in my career, maybe even more, and everything's different. I don't think I've ever done two that are the same. You've got some similarities, of course. It's a business plan, but there's a whole range of things. So let's look at this. This is the competitor analysis. It's very important that not only you, if you're the editor of the business plan, but most importantly, the leadership team have really sat down and nutted out who their competitors are. What are their strengths and their weaknesses? What challenges are they presenting? And how is your client going to compete against them? So this is a great way of dragging this out. A business plan is not just a 5-minute rush job to get something to show a bank manager and then throw in the bottom drawer. If you're going to approach it that way, I prefer you didn't start with ESS BIZTOOLS material. You need to think this is part of the ongoing development of the business. This is a document that's going to be referred to month by month by month to ensure that it is appropriately implemented. So there's part of what's included in there. Okay, so I'm ready to move on, and on this review of how you would go about delivering these services, because we have put them into this system to help you. And I'm now going to research and development. I think research and development is an exciting area for accountants. And I heard for years that accountants, smaller and medium-sized accounting firms, weren't interested because they thought you had to be an engineer or a scientist to undertake research and development. Well, I disagree. Your client needs to make sure they've complied with the requirements to do prior art searches and to make sure other people haven't already done this work, and to be able to identify what their product's going to achieve. Your role is more of an audit role, to make sure all the forms have been completed, the I's have been dotted and the T's crossed, if you like. So this is the procedure control form. We have one of these forms for every one of our product packages to help guide you through. So this is the preliminary concept. It's giving you or your team an overview of what this is all about, and bringing in terminology like hypothesis and planning a research development about the new knowledge that's to be developed. Discussing things like advanced findings, which is getting pre-approval from the tax office and Oz industry for a program, and overseas finding. So that's all there. I'll just flick through there. I'm just showing you that's there. And then we got the step-by-step process, talking about marketing, how you market this to your clients. Now, there's a lot of SMEs undertake research and development. They don't all claim it because a lot of them, unfortunately, don't undertake it within a company structure. And even some of those that do it don't keep the paperwork right. They didn't know they had to do that. And they go to an accountant and says, I know nothing about this, and this looks like a mess, so we're not going to worry about it. And the client gets disillusioned. But according to the government, nearly $5.8 billion was spent by SME companies on research and development 2 years ago. That's the most recent figures that are available. Nearly $5.8 billion. The research and development rebate payout, according to the government's calculations, was 43% of that. So about nearly $3 billion was going to get paid out. It's big money. And various commentators have said that around 60% of that expenditure is done by very small SMEs, not the ones at 19 million turnovers, but down the other end. So it's worth looking at, because there's a lot of SME clients involved. And they don't like going to a big four firm. Who would? So it's intimidating, it's very costly, and it's services that I think smaller accounting firms can deliver. So that's the procedure control form. I'm now going to go back in that and pull out a few of the forms that are contained there. And I want to go to, just to give you a brief look, we've got this concept of BAS right through the ESS system. We had it before the tax office come up with it, incidentally. But BAS is Business Advisory Services form, and they've all got a number. There's 52 of them in our research and development system, because they're the various forms that may have to get filled in, may have to get completed. Be a very rare client that needs them all completed, but they're all there to assist you on that journey. So I want to bring up 5505, And this is planning a research and development project. What is the idea, objectives of the project? This is the client filling this in for themselves for a discussion with you. It's part of your role then, as we see it, to make sure the client's on the right track. And we're going to give you a checklist where you check all this against. Have they done prior art searches? And in that paper 5052-010, we explain what a prior art search or literature search is and what it's all about. It's very important. It's not spending 5 minutes on the internet looking for someone else that might have done something exactly the same name as what your client wants to call his or her project. They have to do some research. So that's paper 5505. We then have a system's going back to some of the previous stuff, I'm sorry. One of the hassles of doing a webinar. We now want to go to form number FC050. So FC stands for flowchart. We've introduced flowcharts into our system because we think this is a better way or an improved way of giving you the tools to help educate your client on what research and development's all about. So you could run a seminar. We do have a seminar for it. And you can sit and talk. Now, you can click to these references if you like. 5505, we were just there a moment ago, 5506, and there's the paper. I'm going to show you the paper in a moment. So there's the flowcharts. Now, this is the first of 12 flowcharts. We've got flowcharts for every step of the research and development journey to assist you to be able to explain all this. And we do run training programs for our subscribers. In each of the packages, there's a guaranteed minimum component of training. We run a monthly overall training webinar for our subscribers, and you can subscribe for additional training if you wish. So that's the flowchart. As I said, there are 12 of them throughout the total system. And then I want to show you a paper, because there are 12 papers in this system. We didn't want to put everything into one paper because that gets a bit daunting for someone to sit down and look at a 140-page document. We've broken them down into 12. And this one's getting ready for a research and development project. What are they going to do? They might have employees. I'll go. So this is just the contents. We'll go into the actual area. Getting ready, appointment of employees that are going to be in it. Their names should be recorded. You should make sure that their agreements cover everything that's going on, especially confidentiality, and make sure that their job description fits what's going to be done in the research and development project, and we explain that a bit more in the material. We then move into contractors. Many clients, many companies engage contractors to help them on research and development projects. There's some real areas that need to be closely followed here, especially the assignment of intellectual property and confidentiality agreements, how they're going to get paid, and the competent professionals that might be engaged. And the same thing, just don't assume that your client owns the intellectual property. We need to make sure it's been assigned from these people and from contractors. So there's warnings there, there's links to forms, and that's the process. So that's a very brief overview of what's contained within research and development. I now want to take you back to the very beginning of the ESS story, back into the public area, where we're going to look at the home area as to what you can go onto our site now and see. So that's our home page. There's a lot of information there, I know that. One of the key documents is the Accountant's Minute newsletter. Hopefully you've heard of our Accountant's Minute newsletter. But you can access all of the Accountant's Minute newsletter going back a long time. And this is this week's. And this is looking at creating deliverable services, exactly what I'm talking to you now about. And we have a special promotion on for Christmas, which if you haven't read, I'd like to think you would read it. And we're talking about the 52 weeks enhancement system for businesses, and then the Chief Financial Officer services. And next week we're following up with part 2 of this because it was too long. And because there's a lot of services within ESS BIZTOOLS. But we also want you to be the storyteller, whereby you're helping your clients on the future. Our whole emphasis in all of this is to help you to deliver planning strategies for the future, not to just be the past tense historian for your clients. If you were working in a public company or a large private company as a chief financial officer, your role is helping them, the general manager, plan the future. The general manager or managing director doesn't sit there spending too much of their time on the past. I worked in a public company environment. I was the chief financial officer and company secretary. My boss was concentrating on today, so the CEO today and the future. He was planning things 3 or 4 years in advance. I think he spent 85% of his time on current and future. And the majority of that was still on the future. Probably 65% of his time was the future, maybe 20% on the current, and that was looking at the weekly results. And in our material, we discuss weekly results. So that's the story of Accountant's Minute, which you can access. It's a whole stack of them there. There's a whole range of other material, so you can go on and look at the packages. We have 3 packages. Our big package is financial forecasting, which includes the Plan Guru software for budgets, cash flows, and projected balance sheets. We've got the advanced package and we've got the starter package. The very minimum, everyone should start with a starter package, but a lot of people go for advanced and financial forecasting right from the outset, because when you go through and look at it, you can see what's going on. If you want to know what's included, we click on Learn More, and there's a summary comes up, and then you've got the package contents. And if you want to know what's included in a package content, you just click on Learn More. And that will now show you what's involved in buying a business. We have a short video on buying a business. Then you just click back and go back to where we were. Now I want to just take you through some of the other material in this system. We've got the after promise. It's very important that people like us tell you what we're going to do after you've subscribed and paid us some money. We've got an ongoing commitment to communicating. We've got Business Plus newsletter every month. We've got regular monthly training video, and we are available for you to contact at any time. Plus, we're writing new material throughout the year, and our subscribers receive that as we upload it, as long as it's in your membership category. We also have other material on people who have supported us, a bit of detail on me and why we are so fanatical about the delivery of business advisory services to SMEs. You can learn more details about our products. We've got support from some high-profile accounting people led by Andrew Geddes, one of the joint founders of the Financial Management Research Centre, and other commentary there that you can look at. So that's the brief overview of ESS BIZTOOLS as part of our series on delivering advisory services. I hope you agree that this material will be of benefit for you to introduce to your clients. If you want to talk to me about any issue, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or telephone 1800 232 088, and we'll organise a complimentary Zoom meeting to have a discussion. But I look forward to your firm seeing the challenge of introducing the delivery of advisory services to your clients, and we would love to have you as a subscriber to ESS BIZTOOLS. Stay safe, have a Merry Christmas, and I look forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.